Peace to the saints. We are back with another discussion. This time we have a real live Black woman here. And what precisely would you like to discuss?
Just your thoughts on Black women being angry and potentially deserving kind of what what ensued in that video. So obviously I think there was a guy that was just hitting these women. I couldn't see why that happened. I couldn't see the beginning of it. But I think you were like, so I'm like, well, we're there to protect Black women, but sometimes, the way they behave, they're a bit ratchet or something, and sometimes they can deserve that. And so, obviously, as a Black woman, as you said, I was a bit caught off guard by that because I didn't necessarily agree, but I do understand that women in general, I don't think women in general should hit women or have violence towards men. Sorry, not women, men, because I think, like, I have a son, and so if any woman hit him, I think he has a right to defend himself. But I would hope that it would be kind of self-defense, which I couldn't see from that whether it was or not, and that's why I wasn't very strong in my comment to you. I was like, surely nobody should be hit, and yeah. So it would be interesting to kind of get your views because obviously we also live in different countries. Um, yeah.
Sure.
So I hope that makes sense.
So, number one, I was speaking to the situation of the Black American man and woman, and there is no doubt that both are in disrepair. In this particular case, we were seeing the high testosterone Black female behave like an animal, and I was addressing that. For the Black man and woman are a natural pair, and it is the Black man who is in a leadership position, which means that the Black woman is in the position of the follower, to be obedient and to be subject to the man. In their failing to do so, they don't get the protections of a man. And what I explained in that video is that for the Black woman to be under our protection, they must be under our leadership. And as they refuse to do so, they're going to experience various consequences, which you saw in that video. But I will at some point play the video. But so far, do you have any objections to what was noted?
Well, it's the term leadership, because don't you? Well, maybe you wouldn't agree because you're not a woman, but for me as a woman to feel that I should be submissive, so to speak, or follow a man, I need him to feel protected by him. And if you don't feel protected by him, especially Black women, we don't feel protected. That could lead to women acting in a way that they shouldn't. But at the same time, I don't think that should result in them being hit or anyone.
Well, that's a misrepresentation of my position. I've not said that at all. So that has come out of your mouth and out of your mind and perhaps from your background. But most importantly, I must concede that I look at the situation as follows. Are you an oncologist?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So if you were to get a cancer diagnosis, you probably wouldn't know how to treat the cancer. Would you agree?
That's correct.
Yes. The Black woman in America, and in fact, I'd say women increasingly throughout the West, they have a cancer of the mind. They know not how to treat it, but they pretend as though they are doctors who can self-heal, and they find themselves digging themselves deeper into problems. And the sadness is that even women such as yourself, who, for this moment, you seem to be civil and polite. I know that any woman who agrees with me who disagrees with me is already on the wrong path. And your life, the reality of your life today will reflect that. I've never had a woman who's happily married to a good man and has children in a happy, healthy nuclear family who disagrees with me. I've never met you before. Would I be correct to say that you're not currently married to the father of your child?
That's correct.
Yes. And the reason that I know that you're not happily married to the father of your child is because you object to obedience. And it is the
I don't.
disobedient female who has. Okay, you're speaking while I'm speaking. So I'll stop speaking so that you can interrupt me. Go ahead.
No, I actually don't. I don't disagree with you. I think in a marriage or in a relationship that there are roles that men and women play, and I do believe respect your partner, your man, and being an African, that is kind of the background that I come from. But I'm just saying that it still doesn't mean that violence is the answer. And I think that's for me where the issue lies. I don't think we're speaking necessarily in completely opposite things, but it's just for me the act of violence. That's what I have an issue with.
Well, that is not what you have an issue with. I would forward that you're an unruly woman and you are oriented on being disobedient, and you will find any explanation to make an excuse for your disobedient and unruly nature. And because of that, there can be no reasoning with you. You've misrepresented my position and suggested that I've spoken of violence toward women, which I've done none of the sort, and I would not. I've never committed it, and I've also never spoken in favor of it. To be clear for everyone watching, you're referring to a video whereby you see about 10 high testosterone, disobedient, unruly, wildebeest Black females descending upon one single man who is in fact wearing a shirt that says what on it?
I actually didn't see what it said.
It said security. His shirt said security, which means that he was the authority there. He was the order. He was the law. And they were rebelling against man's law and their typical nature. And in fact, they were trying to jump him. And he was not only establishing order, but also protecting himself. So you've mischaracterized what I've said, because your nature itself is unruly and disobedient. And it's not until you're willing to accept goodness, purity, and a man's leadership that you can even comprehend my words or comprehend the world around you.
Can I interject then? Is it okay for me to speak?
I yield the floor to you.
Yeah, thank you. And so why do you think I'm disobedient? Because I think that's a bit of an unfair.
It's not that I think. I've seen you a million times. I know you, in fact, better than you know yourself, which is why I said to you, madam, I've never met you. I don't know your name. I don't know your ethnicity. I don't know your location. But I do know that you're a single mother and you're not with the father of your child. It's like, how could I possibly know that?
I'm not a single mother, actually.
By your definition, you're not a single mother, but by my definition, you are a single mother, because I do not believe in mixing paternal blood, which is to say, once a woman has been planted in by one man, it's a wrap. You do not bring another man around that child. You put the child at risk. You should probably look at the data on children being sexually abused by males in their home who are not their blood related father. That is not proper. That is against my law. That's why I say you're a single mother, because you're not with the father of that child. And procreation is marriage.
That's your opinion.
Well, you're an unruly woman. So anything that does not fit the way you live and the way you behave, and you're behaving in low ways, anything that does not fit that, you're going to dismiss it. And that's why you're in this situation, because you don't want to be under divine law.
Okay. And so you don't think that there can be, like, two things can be true at the same time. So your best is to be judgmental and quite, because I'm not agreeing or necessarily seeing your view, so I'm disobedient because I haven't said anything about your character or who you are, because I have no idea. I think
I invite you to examine my character. I invite you to. I have a book called The Black Box. It details my life from age 0 to 25. My life is fairly public. You can read about it in the media since before YouTube. I stand by my character 100%. I've never consumed a drop of alcohol. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never even drank coffee. I don't have any bastard children out in this world. I've never laid a hand on a woman. Anything that's documented about me, I stand by. I have a life that's well lived from making good decisions on a consistent basis. I, like you, am a human being, which means imperfect, but I've not made any major violations of divine law, and that's why I've not suffered as a result.
Neither have I, actually. So that's good. And so
yes, you have. Yes, you have. That is why you are a lonely mother. Like, you cannot keep overlooking that. That's a serious thing, to take a child from living in the home of their blood father. That is a serious matter.
and that you can have your opinion, and I'm very happy for people to
That's
have
not an
that.
opinion. That is a fact that's agreed upon the
Or
whole world over. You said that you're African. There's no African nation that believes that taking the child away from the father is an appropriate thing. What African nation is this? Please let me know.
well, I
No,
think there
let me
could be
know.
some.
Which African nation is it?
Well, there isn't. Obviously, that would be stupid. But I don't think that that's the case for everybody. There are also circumstances. Someone you don't even know if the father of my child died. You don't know the circumstances. So I feel
You
for
guys
people.
always play that game. You play that game and it shows the lack of integrity. Has the father of your child died?
He hasn't.
You,
But
I
what I'm
want you to repeat that. I want you to repeat that. Has the father of your child died?
He hasn't. But everyone has
No, he
different.
hasn't. Now, what I want you to know is that just to even say such a thing only exposes the wickedness within you. It's an evil thing to even suggest that the father of your child has died. Now, let me tell you something else that's very sad because, as I said,
Right.
I've seen you a million times. There was another young lady whom I had the same conversation with. And when I said the same thing to her, which is that your wicked ways have led you to bad outcomes, she says, well, you don't even know if the father of my child is alive. And then I said, is the father of your child alive? And then she said, no, he's not alive. And then I said, you're lying. Then it turns out she was lying. You're on the same path as her. That girl was an OF girl. You're not very far off, unfortunately, in terms of morality, because it's a sick thing to suggest that the father of your child is dead when he is, in fact, alive and well. Why would you even play like that?
Well, what I'm saying is that you would meet many different people who have different
Now, are
circumstances.
you going to ignore my question? My question is, why would you even play like that?
Because I'm trying to give you a scenario of where when you're talking
But
about
why
people,
not? Why not base your scenario in truth, though? The truth of your life. Why are you talking about a life that you're actually not living?
I've said my circumstances, my situation, which I'm not embarrassed about, and I'm very happy to talk about it. But all I'm trying to say is that you can't judge everyone and tarnish everybody by the same brush because people have different know what they are. People can have their opinion, and that's okay. But I think for me, what's unsettling and uncomfortable is that the kind of very strong judgment or
That's because you're in error. People who are making mistakes, they don't want their mistakes to be pointed out. For example, if you say, Marquett, would you mind living in a society that prohibits all forms of filth? It prohibits sexual deviance. It prohibits excess consumption of sugar. It prohibits alcoholism. It prohibits drug abuse. It prohibits all of these bad things. I'd say no, because I wouldn't have to change a thing. With you, if we say, would you like to live in a society where we remove all of the filthy behaviors? You would not want to be in that society because you engage in those filthy behaviors. The reason you say that, oh, you're so judgmental, it's because you have error. You have committed error. And when you are judged, you will suffer from the judgment. You're trying to avoid consequences. That's all that is. Instead of doing the honorable thing and saying, I have committed a mistake. Let me correct it, or let me at least concede that it is in fact a mistake. That's the problem. It's no accountability. Precisely why a woman is not to lead. That's precisely why a woman must be under a man. Because when a man commits error, a real man can acknowledge it and course correct. Conversely, a woman's, oh, don't judge me. Oh, don't judge me. Oh, it's okay. People live in different ways. There's different cultures. You say you're African, but you can't tell me what African culture condones your current way of living. None.
none, none do. So I'm in complete agreement with you. I'm 100% in agreement with you. Absolutely, fundamentally agreed. So we don't disagree there. But everyone has different ways of living or different circumstances, and it's
Is
fine.
that true
So
what you just said? Is that true what you just said? Let's look at the language. You said, quote, everyone, meaning everyone on earth, has different ways of living. If everyone has different ways of living, there'd be no such thing as a culture. A culture represents a significant grouping of people, maybe like the Ibu or the Xhosa or the Zulu or the Shona or fill in the blank. So cultures have similar ways of living. So when you
yeah,
say everyone has a different way of living, you are in fact lying. And it is that kind of wickedness. That is why I do my work. And that is why I'm also erecting culture and spreading it the world over so that we can stop this kind of behavior.
okay. And so how do we go about doing that then?
Go about
What's
doing
your
what?
solution of everybody not committing, living lives that they shouldn't be living, or not following the right culture, or
Well,
because everybody
thank you for that
people
question.
yeah. I'm very interested to hear your
I don't want to interrupt you, please. My apologies.
so it's okay. I'm very interested to hear your views because yeah, people have different circumstances, mindsets, motivations. You know,
Yes.
how to get to a point where we all see things the same way.
Yes, I hear you. So, are you a genius? Because I'm not a genius. You're not a genius, or are you a genius and I don't know
No, I'm not.
it? Okay, me either. Me either. So I say that to say, because we are not geniuses, we're just everyday human beings. Uh, we can take what already exists in the world and try to take the best of it. One thing we know from the data, from our everyday observances, from common sense, even from our feelings, is that it is best that the mother and the father of a child be in the same household to raise that child.
Agreed.
And mostly the whole planet Earth agrees on that. Now, the question is, what are the impediments to that occurring? Well, one of the main impediments to that is female promiscuity. And it's a reasonable question. Say, well, Marquette, what about male promiscuity? It's also a great evil, but the female promiscuity is a greater evil. Well, Marquette, well, how could that be? We're equal, aren't we? No, no. We are, in
No,
fact,
we're not.
not equal. We're not equal and we're not the same. You see, if you love, go out and you're promiscuous, you don't know who the father of the child is. Disgusting. If I go out and I'm promiscuous, we know precisely who the mother is and we know precisely who the father is. So if we wanted to proceed in family, we could very easily do that. That's number one reason why it's different. Number two reason why it's different is that if you and I both go out and we're promiscuous, you're stuck with the baby. And you have
Right.
oxytocin, a chemical, a divinity that connects you to the child, whereas the man just carries on, starts a whole new life and a whole new family. So the burden of promiscuity and making mistakes is much lower for the man. So it is in protecting our women, in fact, protecting them from themselves, that I speak against female promiscuity. Now, Marquette, functionally, how do you prevent female promiscuity? Number one, having a culture that stigmatizes and shuns it. Number two, by training the youth, the girls, on what their trajectory should be. Number one, what is your purpose as a human female? Mostly you don't know because no one's told you. Your purpose is to indulge in family and find all of your joys through family, which would consist of being a great wife and an even better mother. And you raise them up knowing that your purpose is family. So let's achieve that sooner rather than later. And you teach them how to choose a man. You don't choose him by the yearnings of your loins. You choose him by his ability to be a husband and a father. And I actually have a training center that I'm building. I'm raising capital for right now. There's a GoFundMe to fund the training center. And that is where we will give that education. I'm already giving it. I have a group of women called the Lady Saints. Shout out to Diamond, who's in the chat right now. THESASN.com. Click join. We have the Lady Saints. They meet on a regular basis. And we give this education. That is how we move the world forward. We have locations, sections, we call them, around the world, which teach us education on a regular basis. And that's how we're pushing it.
That sounds great, but I'd like to touch on
That sounds that sounds great, but tell me more about that phraseology.
Yes, of course, I'm very happy to. So obviously, to have a healthy relationship, to raise a child in a healthy home, for also women to thrive, for men to thrive, it takes, in my view, it would take men and women working towards that goal, right? So where is the responsibility on men in this? How do we work together to create healthy relationships, healthy society, to, as you say, condemn promiscuity, to condemn domestic violence?
You keep bringing up violence. You really
Yeah.
keep bringing up violence. So I know that there's a trauma there.
I don't know about America, but in the UK, there's been a huge rise in violence against women and girls.
I don't think that's actually true. I think that's probably not true at all. And the reason that I say that is because, you know, it was in the 1950s that you can lay out your old lady, and even if she calls the police come like, hey, that's a domestic affair. I don't want to get involved. Certainly there's been decreasing violence against women, but there have been increasing lies about how to categorize it. You see, now we call everything human trafficking, whether it is or isn't. Now is what we call cat calls or assault. If someone whistles at a woman in the UK, it's an assault. It's ridiculous. Now, what has your experience been with violence against women?
Well, starting very minor from catcalling.
That's not violence. I mean, actual violence, not fake violence.
So no one's ever physically attacked me, but during
But
COVID, we
why do you
saw,
keep bringing up violence against women? You've had no experience with it. Why do you keep doing that?
because that's what I see. I read in the news. I see in the news. That is a fact.
Okay, so you said that's what you see.
After this,
Now let's set apart the news, because the news and media is designed to get your attention. So they say if it bleeds, it leads, right? So they're going to push more violence. They're going to push more sexual things. Let's use common sense here. Now, what have you seen in your real life? Help me there.
well, it's people's personal stories, which I wouldn't want to divulge on air to random people. But
No, I'm not talking about stories. Stories are not what you've seen. So please listen to me, dear. What have you seen?
as in actually physically seeing someone being attacked? Is that what you're asking? Please.
Yeah, you said it's on the rise. You should be able to see it. I'll give you an example of what I mean. In my neighborhood, let me give you an example, since you're avoiding the question. I grew up in a ghetto. In my ghetto, I will tell you that my ghetto has a lot of violence. My ghetto has a lot of drug sales. My ghetto has women selling their bodies. Marquett, what have you seen? Did you see this on the news? Did you hear about it? Are you guessing it? No. When I would walk to school, I would walk by women selling their body. I would walk by people shooting dice, using drugs, and I was in a number of fades. I've seen a lot of fades. It's a regular occurrence. That's the evidence. I don't have to look on the news because it's that common. Now, what have you seen in terms of this male on female violence you're claiming is so rampant in the United Kingdom? Please describe it.
We had a big case of a girl that was attacked, raped, and killed.
Was that on the news? Was that on the news?
Yes, it was on the news. Can you let me?
Okay, please listen. I specifically said not on the news. You're not listening. I told you at the beginning, you are disobedient. You are disobedient. You are disobedient. You are disobedient. Now I will add to that, you are dishonest. You are dishonest. You are dishonest. That is why you are single. It's the dishonesty. It's the disobedience. I very simply said, you're making up things. There is not the violence. You're brainwashed by liberal white women. The moment I ask you to justify it with the reality, things you can touch, not what you hear, not falsehood, not fake news. I say, if it's so common, what have you seen? And then you go back to the news. What have you seen in real life is what I'm asking you.
Is there any reason you're shouting? Because I think we're having a civil conversation.
Yes, there is. I'll tell you why. It's because I've asked you the same question 4 times, and it's as though you're not comprehending it. And so I must concede, love, that probably similar to your baby daddy, it's frustrating to talk to someone who refuses to acknowledge what you're saying or cooperate. It's difficult to communicate honestly and sincerely with someone who confronts you with dishonesty and insincerity. You might understand that that's frustrating.
I think I'm frustrated by the way you're talking, but I just choose to go about it in a different way. I don't think I need to be disrespectful.
I'm communicating clearly. It's a pleasure to communicate with me. You, on the other hand, you're sitting in a car out in the public in a place that's so dangerous. I'm shocked that you'd be sitting out in the car, because any man could come and accost you at any moment because you're looking forward. You should have your head on the swivel. The fact is, you're lying. You're a liar, and you won't admit that you're lying. And that's the problem with you. And that's why I told you earlier, I said to you, you are a woman with cancer and you are not an oncologist, but you are convinced that you can rid yourself of the cancer. All the while, you die from it. And what's more, it's worse than cancer because it's almost like something that is a contagion that can spread, and you spread the stupidity. Nothing you've said makes sense. Your life itself reflects bad decisions, yet you think you know. Yet you think you know. Doesn't make any sense.
I know. I came on to have a conversation, to hear your views, to share my views, and clearly we don't agree, and that, to me, that's fine. And thank you so much for your thoughts and feedback about my life and I hope that one day I will be healed. So just pray for me.
Can I ask you real quick, humbly? May I ask you humbly?
Yeah, of course.
What about your life makes you think you're qualified to share your views of the world?
I'm human. I'm very opinionated about many things.
Jeffrey Dahmer is human.
I like to
Adolf Hitler's opinionated.
Yeah, and that's that's fine. But you're asking me a question, I'm giving you an answer, and you're kind of, so I don't really know what to say. I can't say anything other than what
I'll
I'm saying.
tell you
So
what I'm doing here. I'm doing something that's unusual. I'm confronting you with the truth, and I'm telling you that we're not all equal. And I'm also revealing the fact that if you fail at life, you shouldn't be telling people how to live life. I'm telling you that just like a physician has to get credentials and qualification to advise people on their health, just like a musician probably should be able to read music and has studied music, that is why we regard them. And I'm telling you that if life were a performance or a school, you are a person without credential, you're a person without success in this realm. In as much as that's the case, you should not be on the stage teaching. You should be in the audience learning. It is only due to your hubris that you sit here and think that you can advise people while being a lonely mother. And that is precisely why you are a lonely mother, because you believe you know that which you do not know. And it is truly disappointing that I even have to say this, because I appear to be rude when in fact I have enough heart to tell the truth. People think that love is the sweetness and the kindness. Sometimes love is strict and love is disciplined. And I'd be damned if I'm going to have women listening to a lonely mother about how to live life, because lonely mothers are a detriment to our society.
We might be. So as I said,
no, there's not might. All the data says so. You don't look at the data. You look at the news, but you don't look at the data.
Well, I think I don't agree with that opinion, and even if I read that, I wouldn't necessarily agree with it. So
you don't get to agree or disagree with the facts. You see, that's the thing. For example, I'm a black man. I don't get to agree or disagree with that categorization. It is a fact.
Facts can be skewed. And as I said, for the back, I'm not a lonely mother, but thank you for your thoughts on that.
No, you are. You are. You're not with the father of your child. That's full stop.
So that's the full stop, right? So that's how you define.
That's a full stop.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough.
That's how everyone defines it. You see, now we have all of these euphemisms to make you feel better about your bad decisions. You see, they have a co-parenting. Here's the comedy. 20 years ago, no one ever heard of co-parenting, right? Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. That's why you have to add modifiers. It's a modifier. Co-parenting. We knew about parenting. Fathers. Stepfather. No, we knew about fathers. What's a stepfather? You have to add a modifier. You see, these are all creations to explain away our low ways of living. And I find it to be particularly disheartening when you reference your African culture, which you won't share. And the even more curious part is you're not in Africa. So apparently your African culture is not one that you love because you're in London. And maybe you try to turn around and say the same thing to me. My people were held in captive. I don't have any connection to an African culture, but you reference an African culture that you're not willing to be a part of. Are you from Ghana?
No, actually, I'm from Kenya, East Africa.
From Kenya. I've been to Kenya probably more times than you. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, why don't you want to live in Kenya since you're so Kenyan?
Have you asked me how many times I've been to Kenya?
Well, I'm asking you, why don't you live there, since you reference that culture and that's where you're culturally situated? Why don't you live there?
Well, my mom brought me here when I was very young, so I've been here for 29 years now.
Okay, and you have had 29 years to move back, and why haven't you been back?
Because I like living here. I work. I study
okay.
Here.
So then don't reference Kenyan culture, because you don't live like a Kenyan. You live like a Londoner, which means in filth and in low ways with immorality. That's what you live like. And you're comfortable with that. So why even reference Kenya?
Because that is my home. That's where I'm from. And I go home actually every year.
No, that's not your home. And then this is the stuff. This is why the whites in the UK are so mad at you guys. This is why the whites are mad at you, because you want to be so Kenyan, but you refuse to go live in Kenya. You see, like me, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm so Ethiopian, but I'm living in Beverly Hills. Apparently, I like Beverly Hills. That's why I'm in Beverly Hills.
Why can't
Pardon?
Why can't we live wherever we want to live?
You can live wherever you want to live, and you should appreciate where you are, and you should be honest. You see, when we have the discussion, you start talking about African values. You don't live out African values. And so the best way to view me is someone who's holding you accountable to be honest. That's why you're having a challenge, because the people in the UK, they're so polite and so nice. It's almost never that you have someone tell you the truth about who you are, which, and who you are, mind you, is a representation not of your ideas, it's a representation of your activities, what you actually do. You see, so your activities are not those of a high Kenyan culture that you're referencing. Your activities are those of a Londoner who's very liberal and is living in a declining Western society. That is who you are.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Next, any other insult to throw my way, or to tell me?
The truth is not an insult. The truth is not an insult. If you say, "Hey, Marquett, you're bald head," I say, "You damn right." That's not an insult. "Hey, Marquett, you have a scruffy beard." I absolutely do. "Hey, Marquett."
To stop.
What was the insult? What did I say that was a pejorative, that was inaccurate? That's an insult. When you lie about someone or when you exaggerate a bad quality.
Mother, and I'm not. And I think also
you are a lonely mother.
Paint a narrative to young women, or because people, anyway, as I said, you don't know people's situations. And I think that rather than, what would actually be nice is that if you would have been like,
nice. You've had too much niceness.
Have I? Okay, great.
Yes. Oh, by the way, folks, if you have a comment question for the young lady, I can tell she wants to leave because she hates the truth. You can use the information below to send in your comments and questions and support the work. Please do send it in now. Go ahead, dear. I'll yield the floor to you.
I don't hate the truth, but I think that
you despise it.
No, I actually don't. And if I did, I wouldn't have come on this call with you, to be honest. And I think there are some many great points you're making, and I have no issue there. And I think that you can have healthy disagreements, discussions. You don't have to. This is how the world can move forward. And actually, when you have discussions with people, maybe some of the other things you said might land in time. But I think for me, it's the way you speak to somebody, the way you try and understand where they're coming from, the way you try and reason with people. I think that's important, rather than.
Men don't need to reason with women because you guys are not reasonable. That's where you're messing up. You're not reasonable. That's why I can't reason with you. Like, are you missing that part?
Clearly I am.
Yes, you guys are not reasonable. Stop it. Like, whoever told you that you're reasonable is ludicrous. The idea that a woman is reasonable is similar to the idea that a woman is physically strong. Can you guys lift some things? Yes, absolutely. But would I leave it to you to move furniture in and out of a home? Absolutely not. That's not your strong suit. Reason is not your strong suit. Like, do you not realize that reason is not a woman's strong area of strength? Are you not aware of that?
I disagree. Of course I do, because that I think it's outrageous to say that as a fundamental.
That's not outrageous. Let me give you another one. Let me try another one that's simpler. Let's see if you're going to rock with that one. Let me try one more. Are women or men or women? Who's more emotional?
Women.
Women. Okay. Now, on the opposite side of emotion, would you say is reason and logic? Uh-oh. Are you going to be honest? Are you going to be honest? Yes, the analog of emotionalism, would you say, would that be being reasonable, logical? The opposite of being emotional? No. Okay, what is the opposite of being emotional?
Non-emotional? I don't know. That's kind of stumped me there. So please educate me.
I stumped you. Extraordinary.
Educate me.
I cannot educate you, love. I can only lead you, you see, because there are things that you refuse to understand and there are things that you cannot understand. Some you refuse actively to understand and others you cannot understand. So I cannot educate you. I can lead you. I cannot teach you in the ways and in the thinking of a man, but I can lead you and you can follow in the way of a woman. You see, we have some beta males in the audience. They don't even know that they're beta males. For example, we have an individual who wrote this right here. He writes, "She's not bad, though. She listens, tries answering back, and is very cordial. This person is an imbecile and doesn't even know it." You see, this is the kind of guy that would get with a woman like you, think that he has a good deal, and end up experiencing the fact that you're not so nice as you would appear. You're unruly, you're disobedient, and the marriage will fall apart very quickly. You'll end up being a lonely mother, and he'll end up being a stepdad, both to his own kid and to another kid, because he's a lame. And that's the problem, that he's not manly. So he doesn't have the skills to decipher what you actually are. That's why I have something called the Big Game Conference to teach young men how to decipher what you are. Because I've seen you a million times. Guys don't have my level of experience. That's why I can't see through you. I see through you very easily.
Where have you seen me? Sorry.
I've seen you all over the place. I've seen you in every country. I've seen you in every economic strata.
Oh,
I've seen you
then
on replay. I'll give you an example. For example, earlier in this conversation, you said something that I'd heard before, and I referenced it when you said, well, what if my baby daddy is dead? And I said, is he? And you're like, no. And I'm like, boop, gotcha. And then before that, I said, hey, I've never met you, but I can tell from your unruly nature, you're a lonely mother. You're not with the father of your child, are you? You're like, nope. I'm like, boom, gotcha. So the question is, how is it while you're a stranger, I know all these things about you? The only reason I know these things about you is because I've seen you a million times. You think that you're unique. You think you're a special snowflake. No, you're not. You're a photocopy of many liberal white women. You are an acolyte of the liberal white woman. You are not an individual. You are not what you say you are. You are merely the creation of the thinking, the errant thinking of the liberal white woman. You couldn't explain half the things you do. You couldn't explain your nose ring. You can't explain the tattoos on your hands. All of these things you think you made decisions, but you didn't make decisions. You're following a broken culture. Come on now.
fair enough. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
There's no maybe. There's no maybe. And I just find it strange. I just find it strange to know, like, where does your source of confidence come that you think you should be advising people in the public sphere?
Where have I advised anybody? I was my advice.
That's what you're here. You're here sharing your ideas. Why do you think that you should be here sharing your ideas? What in your life has suggested that you're qualified to do so?
Why not? I'm
why
speaking
not?
my.
Okay, so you said you're a reasonable person. I asked you a question, and then your answer was, why not? Is that reasonable? Is that reasonable? Reasonable. Let's break down the word etymology. Reasonable. Reason, base word. Did you give a reason? Is why not a reason, or is it a question?
But I have views and thoughts on things, right? And I have made judgments or taken a particular viewpoint on something, and I'm sharing it from my experiences, my thoughts, my upbringing, and many other things that I've seen, I've read, I've experienced. So that's why I'm here to have this discussion with you. And what I commented was, surely, I even asked you a question. I said something like, violence to anyone is wrong. Surely this isn't right. I was asking you your opinion, because actually I do repost a lot of what you said, because a lot of things you said I actually agree with. So I wanted us to have that. So this is a discussion. I even have a podcast. I have discussions with people about various things, and I'm very happy to be proven wrong. I'm very happy to be educated / led, or whatever it could be. So I'm not here saying, listen to me, this is what I think, you should do this. But I think we need to be able to have discussions, healthy discussions, because that's the only.
No, we don't. Like in China, they just made a rule that podcasters cannot speak on certain topics unless they have the requisite education in that area. And I think that's probably a good thing. The truth of the matter is that in your case, you are a product of lack of education and also miseducation. That's miseducation by the liberal white woman. Marquett, what do you mean? I'll give you an example. You repeatedly kept mentioning violence against women, violence against women, violence against women, which is a fiction of the leftist, hyper-liberal, lesbian, white woman ideology. And when I said, well, give me an example of something you've seen, since it's so common, and you couldn't give me a single instance, that's because it's lies and it's made up. Now, here's the more important part. Have you ever, Matt, may I ask you a question, and would you be kind enough to answer it honestly? Would you be kind enough to answer this question honestly?
Very honest, but okay, fine. Just still think I'm
okay,
not, but
all right. Here's my question.
Let's
question.
Go.
Have you ever kissed a female?
Yes.
Okay. So you've had some sexual contact with another female?
Yep, in university, yeah. I kissed,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that I knew the answer to that before I asked you?
I'm sure you did, yeah.
I mean, yes, I did, because you're a liberal white woman, and that's what you guys do. You engage in homosexuality. Now, here's the important thing. Since you're so African, you see, I've been to your country many times. Your country, it's more my country. But your homosexual behavior throughout the continent of Africa, how do they feel about that perversion?
Strongly against it.
Yeah. Do you know that there are places where they would take your life for that kind of behavior?
Yeah, including Kenya, they do that.
I see. So I want you to know, you are not like us. You've been taken from us. You are a casualty, love. You're a casualty. You are not a part of the Black people. You do not respect our heritage. You don't respect our culture. You don't respect our ancestry. You are a liberal white woman. You see,
Right.
you are a slap in the face to us. And what's even worse than that is the sadness of knowing that you're raising a son, right? You have a son?
I do have a son.
I'm so good. So you have a son and you're raising a son while being a woman who is so lost that you would engage sexually with another female. So not only does he lack the masculine presence of his own father, he has a woman who doesn't even have feminine presence because she is so polluted that she would engage with another female. Ooh, nasty work. Nasty work.
As I
That's
say,
nasty work. No, that's
pray,
nasty work.
pray for us fallen people. That's all I can say. And I will check out all the things that you said that you do, because that it would be quite interesting to see how you're leading the masses to live better lives and not be so polluted and get rid of the cancers. So it's been really helpful. And
I appreciate that.
know that I can't take the truth, or I'm a liar, and but I do agree with you in that nobody, I definitely did not go into having a child wanting not to be with the father. That is never the goal. And I agree that if you have a child, you should try and raise a child in a home with both parents. Absolutely. And I also do agree that, men and women have different roles, and men are seen and should lead. But I also think that it also needs to come from a place where women are respected, they feel valued, they feel supported. And if women don't feel like that for whatever reason, it can make it hard to trust a man, or even not be
But
masculine.
you're not heterosexual though. Like that's a major fundamental issue. It's like you have to be heterosexual for all this to work.
I am. Actually, I am. So
How
that's
are
the
you
issue.
heterosexual but you're engaging sexually with women? That do you know what heterosexuality is?
That was like 15 years ago when I
Let
used
me
to go.
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, love. Honestly
Yeah,
again.
yeah, go on.
Um, if you're dealing with a man and you ask him, "Hey, have you ever kissed another guy?" And he says, "Yeah, 15 years ago, I slobbed down a guy and we did this and that and this and that." Would you view him as heterosexual?
I'd view him as bisexual.
Aha. Okay, so did I just say bisexual or I said heterosexual, right? And then you said you're heterosexual. So according to
Yeah.
your definition, you're actually bisexual then, right?
Well, no, not if you. No, because it was literally a kiss when I was in university many, many years ago. It wasn't any, and that's on my son's life, and that is God's honest truth. I have no reason to lie about that.
Okay. So if a man kissed another man dead in his mouth like you did with a woman, would you consider him to be
Well,
heterosexual,
people do
bisexual, or homosexual?
people do that here. I don't know that I don't Americans don't.
Here, oh, in London, where you get your
Yeah,
culture from.
yeah, people.
Aha.
Yeah,
Aha.
people do. Yeah, and I do.
Interesting.
Obviously, I've been here for a very long time, so I can't pretend that I don't have a lot of British ways, and and even when I go back home, they're like, "Oh my God, you're very westernized." Yeah, if I lived in Kenya, I'd probably be very different, and I understand that,
Okay.
and that
I'm just
that's
asking you this question. If a man
yeah.
kisses another man in the mouth, is he heterosexual, bisexual, or homosexual?
But I feel like there's context, because
Love, would
because
you mind being honest? Would you mind being honest? Just
no,
for a
I am
moment.
being
Just for
honest.
a
No, no,
moment, dear.
I
Just a
am being
moment.
honest.
Would you mind just being honest? Just real quick. Just try
No,
honesty. See,
no, just
again,
because
do you
I'm not
remember
saying
when I
that you
said
wasn't.
women are not reasonable? So you cannot
No,
reason
because I
with
think there's
them.
nuance. I think there's
You're not reasonable. I cannot reason with you because you're going to lie.
I'm
Everyone
not.
in the chat is saying
Okay,
gay. Everyone in the
I'll give
chat
you.
is saying you're
I,
lying.
okay,
You're not
let me give you.
reasonable,
Let
but
me
you
answer
think
you.
you are. That's why real men don't talk to you guys.
Can I finish? Can I just explain? Can I say something?
Why? You can only lie after this.
No,
After
no,
you fail
no.
to answer the question, you can only lie after. Go
Let me
ahead.
finish.
Tell
Let
me
me finish.
lies.
Okay, I'll tell you this, which may answer or not answer. If I knew a guy, which also make me sound like a hypocrite, but if I dated a guy and I found out he kissed a man, I would not want to date them, because I'd be worried that they could potentially go down that road. So why I say there's
What
context,
road? What is that? The
some
gay road, or is that
yeah,
the
the gay road,
which road is
gay
that?
road,
Oh,
gay
the
road,
gay
gay
road.
road,
Okay.
the
All
gay road.
right.
So
Uh-huh.
I would be like, because it's not, men don't. women can be a bit, you know, kind of close and a bit strange, but I think men don't tend to kiss other men. It's not like a, because like with women, we go in the toilet together and we'll be like talking and laughing, and like that's what women do at times. But I don't think.
But you said women are just as reasonable as men. So to be reasonable means you use reason, and if you have a reason for doing things, you're operating from a place of logic. So you're telling me that women kiss other women, and there's no logical reason that they're doing it. It's not the logical reason of attraction or sexual satisfaction. It's
It depends if it goes. Well, I guess I'm stumped there. I can't really answer that.
Of course you're going to be stumped because you're trying to avoid the truth.
I'm not
And
I just don't.
yes, you're trying to avoid the truth.
Well, it's because I don't fully. For me, I think there is nuances with certain things, and so just because I don't agree.
Yeah, with certain things there are nuances. Like I just had some art. Like there's a young lady in front of my property right now, and there's some nuances. Like I asked for a particular rendering of a painting, and she put some nuance on it. It's a little different than I expected. There's some room. It's art, not science. But we right now are speaking more in the categories of science. I mean, when a man did it, you said it was gay, but when a woman does it, all of a sudden you can't explain it. And the only reason you can't explain it is because you're the woman that engaged in that behavior. And because it's a bad behavior, you don't want to call it bad because you did it. And that's the problem, is that the truth is not in women. The accountability is not in women. Reason is not in women. And as a result, instead of just yielding right now, you're going to fight to the death with lies. And only a fool would try to argue with you.
No, well, and many have. But I was actually going to say that is a good point. I need to think about that because it is a bit hypocritical. But yeah, something to think about. As I say, this is why I wanted to talk to you. Something to think about. So, but I do have to go.
Yes, of course. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Pleasure meeting. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Let me answer some of the questions that folks sent in. I'll also go ahead and show you guys the original. Actually, I can't show you the original videos too. It's too graphic. You can't show people putting lights out on black females on YouTube. They don't like to see that. It's not so good looking. But anyways, let me acknowledge some of the folks who support the work. And if you haven't sent in supporting the work, now would be a good time. I always tell you guys, pay what you owe. We do great work over here. It takes time. I had to stop doing other things, and all of this stuff costs money. The lights, the cameras, the audio, video, the audio mixer, the video switcher, all of it. So you can support here. If you're on YouTube, you can use the Stripe link to support and share comments, questions. Let me acknowledge some of the folks right now. Shout out to Roderick supporting the work. He used the Stripe link, which is in the description of the YouTube video. I also acknowledge Denny, who just got the conference footage that teaches about mindset, personal finance, stock for dummies, IRA and 401ks, and why real estate. Now, it's only $29. When I get some time, I'm going to increase the price on that significantly. You can get that knowledge at thesasson.com, THESASN.com. Click products. And that's really important right now. You should be budgeting. If you don't have a budget, you might be wondering why your money is not looking good. That's why. Shout out to Maurice, came in supporting the work using the Stripe link in the description of the video, as did Ernest. I appreciate both of you. Shout out to the real ones. Shout out to those men who stand up, make their name known. May I also acknowledge Mr. Chambliss. Comes in via Venmo. He writes, "When I bang this, my aim is where your brain is. The supervillain is here to vanquish. And with an iron fist, I'll crush every bone known to scientists. The big homie." Oh, yeah, by the way, check out them bars. You didn't know I got bars. Check out the Saint in the Center on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere you stream. Now, so acknowledge Mario comes in supporting the work via Venmo. Goddamn, people damn near didn't support the work. That's insane. You have 2,000 people watching, 2,000, and only 6 people support the work. It's like, this is the world we're in. What can you do? What can you do? And shout out to the people who are actually, I got some PayPal here. Shout out to the people who are watching on Twitch. I appreciate you because YouTube is censoring people like me. Shout out to Iram. Shout out to the lovely lady Iram. She writes, "Assalamu alaikum." Wa alaikum assalam. Although I'm fairly a new subscriber, I just want to say that I appreciate everything you do. Thank you very much. Shout out to Richard, writes, "No two things can't be true. Unruly always want to have a gray area because they don't want to follow a man's direction. Oh, 100%. Women need to find a way to escape. You hear me? They use all kinds of things to escape. They'll even use religion to escape. It's extraordinary because, instead of listening to you, they want to listen to the Heavenly Father, listen to Jesus. They'll tell you, oh, the Bible says. It's like, hold on, shorty. Are you using God against me? Extraordinary. Kevin writes, if you say you don't hate the truth, why did you take his factual point about your behavior as an insult instead of internalizing it and separating it for its value and how the unqualified men have dealt with? Okay, that's kind of hard to read. I appreciate your support. Shout out to Kevin. Derek comes to support the work via PayPal. Appreciate you. He wrote test. I think he's, testing if that was the right link. Derek, it in fact was the correct link. And shout out to those who are supporting the training center, which supports education of young women and also mature women so that they know how to identify a worthwhile man and also they can be a worthwhile woman. Roderick also supported the training center. I appreciate you. Shout out to Brad, came in supporting using the Stripe link. May I also acknowledge, okay, we're all caught up there. Fantastic. Yes, indeed. And the funny thing, ladies and saints, is that this revolution is already underway. We're already getting after the work. I'm not just here talking. We're getting after it. If you haven't joined the revolution, I highly recommend it. Thesassin.com, THESASN. Click join. We have sections all over the world. We meet up in person. We engage in health, wealth, and relationships in real life. Now, here's the funny thing, ladies and saints. When you have a situation with our women being so disobedient, and I'm talking about all of the women of all of the colors, of all of the religions, they're not going to correct their behavior because you talked to them and explained to them. They're going to have to be more serious methods that have to be applied, unfortunately. It appears that it's Taliban time. And this does not mean violence against women. I am staunchly against violence in all of its forms. It's not necessary unless we're using it to take down this filthy system that makes you have to work 40 hours a week and you still can't provide for your basics. I'm not against capitalism. I'm against greed. But I want you all to know that if you're dissatisfied with the way things are going today, instead of complaining, don't waste any more time doing that. Start taking action. Start taking action. You see, the only reason that woman can get up here on a microphone and start babbling at me with no qualification, living a life that is in disrepair, the only reason she has the confidence to do that is because she's been miseducated. She's been miseducated every day of her life in public schools and in a society that's lying to her in a matriarchy. She's abandoned all of her heritage and all of her culture. And it's really a sad thing to see. And what we are spreading is a global culture that has no consideration of your race, of your religion, of your ethnicity. It is a culture that helps us all strive to be the best of who we are. It is a truly civilizing force because, unfortunately, we're moving backward. Yes, would you believe human beings are moving backward? I'll give you guys a little bit of time to send in any final comments, questions, tuition, and then I'm out of here. Gotta go, gotta go. Also, shout out to Jonathan. He writes, you're a psychic. Bruh, it would appear that way, right? I'm going to have to open up a church, you dig? I'm a prophet, apparently. You see, the funny thing is that experience is such a great teacher. I've seen that woman so many times. I knew that she didn't have a father in the home. I knew that she had engaged in lesbianism. And just a quick note on that. Now, I'm not a hateful person. But I am a person who believes that it's only fair that if you're going to get into a relationship as a woman with a man, that you should be heterosexual. It's a basic. And if you're a man and you're going to get into a relationship with a woman, you should also be heterosexual, meaning you like women. I think it's very deceitful and evil, in fact, to be one who is a deviant and to keep that private and then get into a relationship with someone and not give them a fair chance to have a happy, healthy relationship. Of course, your relationship is going to fall apart if you're in a relationship with a man, but you don't respect men. You think that men are violent, even though you have no evidence of it. It's a fantasy. It's a nightmare in your head of your own making. You're not going to have a happy relationship. And here's a sad thing. How are you going to be a lesbian raising a son? That should be illegal. Really, it should. And there's no hatred. It's just the fact that you can't create a son, right? Two women can't create a son. Two males can't create a son. Leave that to the people who have created that son to be responsible for which they brought into the world. Shout out to Arthur. He writes, Had a date last night. She said she's submissive and looking for something serious. I told her I run everything. This is a dictatorship. She said, quote, that's not fair. Mm-mm-mm. Exactly. You're not ready for what you're asking for. Woo, you say it again. I'm going to repeat that. He had a date last night. The woman said she is submissive. Then he said, great, I run everything. It's a dictatorship. And she says, that's not fair. They're liars. They're liars. They're liars. And the irony, and it's in fact sad, the guy that is good for a woman, she runs from. The guy that is bad for a woman, she runs to. Marquett, what do you mean? If a woman comes upon a man and she says to him, hey, I'm looking to settle down. And he says, okay, fantastic. Me too. I'd like to marry and have children. I'm going to have 2 wives. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You'll live in my home. I'll take care of everything. You'll have a life of leisure, peace, and productivity. And there's a very orderly way that I live according to our culture, which focuses on health, wealth, and relationships. Then she says, oh, you're going to have 2 wives. You say, yes, I'm being honest with you. And you'll have a woman to help you with all of the household chores and much else. You'll be cared for in every way. She says, oh, no, I can't do that. Then she goes to another guy and she says, hey, what's your deal? And he says, oh, well, I'm a 1-woman man. I'm looking to settle down now. I'll take care of you. She says, okay, fantastic. All the while, he has 3 women. He's lying about all of them, lying to all of them. Yes. She couldn't handle the truth. So she'd rather be in the exact, almost the same situation, the same structure, but she gets less from it. She gets no provision, no protection. She gets lied to. She gets put at risk for STIs. She gets all of these bad things merely because she can't handle the truth. She pushed away the honest man and opted for the dishonest man. And the dishonest man is the weak man. Marquette, why is a dishonest man a weak man? Because when you're in a weak position, you got to lie to make things sound good. You got to lie to market yourself, to sell yourself, to appear more than you are. But when you are the truth, when you are valuable, you tell a woman what it is. If she doesn't like it, she can go. You don't have to chase them because you have options, because you're in a strong position. So the honest man is the strong man. The weak man is the dishonest man. And these women opt very often for the weak, dishonest man. Come on now. It's the most easy thing to describe. Now, here's a funny thing. If you ask any woman who's an adult, you say, hey, have you ever been cheated on? They're like, yeah. You're like, okay, so if now you understand man's nature, you understand man's nature and his ambition, why go against nature? Why go against God? Try to figure out how to operate with the realities of nature, which is to say, operate in respect of the truth. Come on now. Operate in respect of the truth. No. They rage against the truth. They rage and rebel against the truth. And as a result, they suffer. Yes. I didn't even get a chance to ask the young lady, oh, why did things not work out with your baby daddy? Because I was curious. Shout out to Korea. Right. It's first time supporting the channel. The live content is really educational. I appreciate you. Yes, indeed. And it's really the Dr. Phil process. If you're a member, check out the exclusive. There's a lot of content on the Dr. Phil methodology. Jacob writes, when she scoffed at one of those things you said and called it cute, I finally saw the evil that you saw all along. I can't lie. She made me think she wasn't as badly misled as she is. Peace to saints. And that's the problem right there. You feel me? One of the advantages female has is they're beautiful. Oh, they're beautiful. She's a pretty black woman too. Natural hair, nice full lips. What? Pretty complexion. What? See, it has no effect on me. Has no effect on me. Because I dealt with beautiful women my whole life. I was raised by beautiful women. You dig? Has no effect on me. But it's an advantage. They're beautiful and they're cute and sensitive. And I know that they always come with a facade. Yes, it's the makeup, it's the perfume, it's the nails, it's all of these false things that they confront you with. And they use that as a smoke screen to confuse you and to influence you. I see through it. And the unfortunate thing is most men don't see through it and they suffer. That's why I made the Big Game Conference. It teaches you about everything from selecting a woman. That's before you've even talked to her. Selecting a woman, and it goes the full cycle all the way through to children, divorce, alimony, and how you can avoid all those terrible things, child support, all those evils. And the reason that you'd be wise to get a jump on that is because check this out. The best time to repair your leaky roof is when it's not raining. You hear me? When it's raining, you can't repair it. You're just going to suffer. It's before the rain starts. That's the key. Don't try to figure out how to get out of alimony. Don't figure out how to deal with a divorce. Figure out how to avoid getting married or avoid getting divorced or avoid alimony or avoid child support. Don't deal with it after it arrives. Prepare in advance. Now, here's the funny thing, gentlemen. You think the most important thing in your life, one of the bigger decisions you think is your career and how you make money. No, sir. It's the woman you choose to be with and it's the children. Those are the biggest things in your life. Same thing for the women. Family. It's the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing. Huh? Come on now. Yes. And thank you to those who support the work, those who are true supporters. You are appreciated. Shout out to those who are members. You are certainly appreciated, each and every one of you. You are the reason that I can do this work. I'm not a celebrity, not here to have fans. So I thank you to those who are a part of the movement. Shout out to Patrick. He just got the conference footage on mindset, personal finance, stock for dummies. Oh, and just by the way, this, if you don't know anything about stock, IRA, 401k, real estate, personal finance, you're not an adult. Respectfully, you're not an adult. I'll give you a tip here. And this is you guys should thank me for this one. As I was talking to my security guy today, I saw I got an alert for a sale for Costco. I purchased some Costco stock. Costco's down right now. I got a lot of it. I bought a lot of it. I'm gonna probably buy some more. You guys have been to Costco. Costco makes a great product. Not only what they have in store, even their restaurant, their hot dog prices haven't gone up in years. It's one of the few places you can go and buy, and I don't eat hot dogs, but you guys at the point their pizza and their hot dogs. They are very strategic with their business model. Costco is not going to disappear. It's a business that their share price may have went down temporarily, but you know it's going to go back up. You never met anybody that doesn't like Costco. You never met a single soul who has a problem with Costco. And every single time you go into Costco, long lines. And we know holiday season is coming up. Thanksgiving, Christmas, man, that share price is about to skyrocket. It's about to go right back up. That's a pro tip for you. And I'm telling you because I know. Last time I talked about stock, I said Rumble stock was going to go down. You could take a short position against it, make money on the way down. I said it months in advance. It came to pass. People make money. Talk to those who know. And that was my point with the young lady. I said to her, hey, why are you coming on here talking about life? You don't have a life well lived. You're suffering. You're not living life well. Like, why are you even trying to give people advice? Respectfully. Like, for example, if Elon Musk came on this conversation, came on my live stream, you'd see a whole different Marquett. I don't even personally like Elon Musk. I don't even respect him. I don't agree with him morally. I think he's a racist. I think he raised children who are sexual deviants. I think that he's terrible at choosing women. But I tell you what, if he came on here, boy, man, Elon, hey, congratulations on becoming a trillionaire. What's your next move? When are self-driving cars going to be on the streets? When will they be purchasable for individuals? What do you see as the future of insurance for self-driving cars? Where would you invest your money? Do you see traditional insurance companies going out of business? Do you think that Tesla is going to offer insurance itself? Man, I have so many questions. I'm here to learn. I'm not giving any advice. I'm not telling anybody what I think. It doesn't matter. I don't even matter. I'm here to listen and learn. It's an appropriate humility. It's an appropriate humility. Like, I realize that the conversation is about money. He's done really well there. Let me learn something. Now, if during the time that Elon Musk is on screen and Marquett Devon Burton is on screen and say someone sent in a question, they say, hey, how do I get super rich? I don't have anything to say about that. I'm like, Elon, what do you think? I want to hear the answer. I'd be a fool to speak in that arena. And I'm not doing badly. But compared to him, I should shut up and listen because he has expertise and demonstrated track record. And it's the sickness in our society that we lie and suggest that all things are held equal. It's not true. All things are not equal. Hierarchy is the truth. Hierarchy is nature. Hierarchy is how God would have it. Whatever you believe, nature, science, God, it's hierarchy. Come on now. Yeah. Anyways, shout out to Arthur. He came back on Venmo. He writes, I have a feeling that millennials and Gen Z women are toast. Yeah, absolutely. Perverts. Perverts. They grew up on adult content. You hear me? Imagine being raised on adult content. That's terrible. We have to wait another generation or two before the women of the future see all the single and divorced women and want different from themselves. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, unless you're the top dog, when you're the top dog, you always have more options. That's just the fact of the matter. And you guys are investing in yourself so that you can be the top dog. So you guys are going to do well. But the average guy, whoo, he about to suffer. He's already suffering. And that's why we have the training center. And that's why our sons and our daughters will be raised in good values and good environments. And I will offer my daughters and my sons to your daughters and your sons. And we will marry within our culture because we know that we're mentally well. The world out there, these people are sick. These people are completely sick. Baby girl talking about she's not a single mother. Are you with the father of your child? No, you're a single mother. It's simple. How do you not comprehend that? How do you not comprehend that? Look at bro over here. Everyone cannot be a trillionaire. Yeah, we know that, buddy. That is not worth saying out loud. It's so obvious. It's called truism. A truism is something that's so obvious, you don't even need to say it out loud, right? Like it wouldn't even make sense to say aloud. If you say, gee, Marquett, you're a handsome man, it's almost not even worth saying. Thank you. But it's not even worth saying. It's obvious. Shout out to Gary, comes in supporting the work using the Stripe link. I appreciate you. May also acknowledge Naomi. Shout out to the ladies. When the ladies support you, you know the game is real. It's pure ism out here. Shout out to Naomi and shout out to the women who are actually submissive. So many of them lie. They lie. And I tell you, with me, you ain't going to win, baby. If you tell me that you are submissive and then you disobey, you're willfully disobedient, you're gone. I don't care what the circumstances are. You're gone and you ain't never coming back. No, there's no do-over here. Yeah, old buddy might give you a do-over. Nah, I ain't got no do-overs for you. It's a wrap. It's a regular wrap. Huh? Now, the funny thing is the last young lady, she thought that she was being respectful and engaging in humility, but she actually wasn't. She wouldn't answer any of the questions that she was asked. And she didn't have the humility to open up her mind and her heart. It was a facade. It was a strategy, you see. And you guys might observe me debating or appearing to argue with people. It's a polemic. It's for the viewing public, and it's really to spread the ism because Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives. However, what I would never do in real life is I would never engage in this kind of conversation. In fact, I would prefer to not even talk to a character like that because it's not a good use of my life and my time. And I hope that you guys don't observe me doing that thing, that's what you should do in real life. No, this is a show, you see, that I'm using to teach. But in real life, you don't spend any time around people who are not good people. You don't waste your time trying to persuade them. Good people are already going in the right direction. There has to be a value add for you to exchange energy with anyone. Individual claims that they donated $100. I'm assuming maybe they're talking about to the training center. Let me take a look. And also shout out to one of the saints he got the how to create and monetize your own app course. Shout out to that one. And that's a really good one. That's my favorite course. I almost never speak of it because most people are not going to go into the software business. It's not the easiest business, but if you want to make hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, in Elon's case, trillions, software business all day, every day. So the course is called How to Create and Monetize Your Own App. And the reason I can teach that course is because that is my foundation. That is my career. That is how I was successful coming into YouTube. You'll notice all the other YouTubers you listen to, check what they were doing before YouTube. Nobody's. Check what I was doing before YouTube. You could find me in magazines. You could find me in news articles, in the news, little buddy. Why? Because I was winning in the software business. So I made that course, not because it would be popular, but because I know that there are people like I was who want to make it really big. And the software business is highly competitive. And I wanted it to be a little bit easier for them to win at it. So that's one of my favorite courses. And if you take that course and you need help, I'll be sure to help you because I really want to see you win. And the software business is competitive. But if you can make an app that has a business model, you about to go up. You about to go up. Anyways, let's see. Does it show me who donated? Yeah, indeed, it does show who donated. So I'm gonna share this screen with you. Shout out to Jamar. He just donated. Baller alert! Donated $100 to the Training and Event Center. Appreciate you. Respect. Yeah, and you know the world doesn't change because we want it to change. It changes because we make it change. We change not because we want to change. We change because we take the activities. We put in work. And everyone who's a part of this team, I thank you. Like Chung, all of my moderators, Uchi, Donovan, all you guys, I appreciate you. Shout out to Chung. That's the link for the training center. All of you guys are critical to the movement. It's not just Marquett Devon Burton. I know when you say you look at a Dr. Umar, you only know Dr. Umar. It's like he's a one-man band. He's not created an organization. He doesn't have groups around the world. It's just him. It's cult of personalities, that one guy. With us, it's a team. We have executives around the world. We have leaders. In fact, at 10 p.m. last night, I was on a meeting with 20 of our executives. Actually, it was 18 to be exact. And those are our leaders who are making this happen. It's bigger than me. It's all of you. And it's a pleasure to lead the world to a better place with you. May I acknowledge Travis came in supporting the work via Venmo. Appreciate you. I also acknowledge via PayPal. Shout out to Reginald. He writes, tuition. I missed the live. Working. Catch up on the playback. Absolutely. And you know what? Work is definitely the thing to prioritize. We support that. We support all of our working men. We love to hear guys getting a degree in nursing. We got electricians, we got construction workers, we got guys in real estate on all sides of the ball. And that's the key, is gainful employment. That's something that we teach, and we honor you. Even though you might find an OF girl making $2 million, you hear me? She's making $2 million annually, and she looks down on you. We need to reevaluate the world. If you're a working man, I don't care if you're a plumber. We respect you, we honor you, and we appreciate you. And especially if you're within this thing of ours, we're going to try our best to put money in your pocket. There's one gentleman named Aaron. I don't think he hit me back yet, but I messaged him on WhatsApp. I said, hey, what all do you do? Okay, cool. Tell me how much you want to charge me to drive on down to the plantation and take a look at X, Y, and Z. Because I know he's an honest man, I am going to pay him just to take a look. If he can fix it, great. Tell me what you want to charge me for that. If you can't fix it, great. I know he's going to be honest and fair with me. And that's the beauty of dealing with people who are within your community. And I'm happy to pay him. I'd rather pay him the travel expense to drive 3 hours to get to the plantation than pay a stranger that lives down the road. We're going to keep it within our community. And it's not a racial community. It's a community based on values. We have saints who are Jewish. We have saints who are white. We have saints who are Chinese, who are Australian, who are African, who are Middle Eastern. And it's based on shared values. It's the good peoples of the earth. That's who we're dealing with here. And I encourage you all to follow this 3-sentence Bible, this 3-sentence Quran, this 3-sentence Torah. Be yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to good people. Make every effort to be around good people. Yes, indeed. Daz says he doesn't see the conference regarding stock. That was from conference 3, I believe, and we broke up the education. It's actually on the sasson.com/products. There you go. Shout out to Chung. He's quick on the draw. And what we did with that one to make it more affordable, because I feel like those lessons are so freaking important. I wanted it to be accessible to like young people, because I truly believe if you start budgeting today as a young person, you start with financial literacy, by the time you get my age, you're going to be filthy rich. You don't have too much money. And so I wanted it to be affordable. It's $29. I am going to increase the price of it when I get some time, hopefully sooner than later. I'm going to try to remember. But it teaches the basics of what you should know to be an adult. Personal finance, which is to say, how much money am I bringing in? How do I allocate it? How much do I spend on housing? How much do I spend on cars? How much do I invest? How do I invest? Then it talks about the basics in real estate. Why would you buy a house? Under what circumstances? How do I get a house that's a deal? How do I protect myself from a US dollar that's declining in value? Talks about IRA and 401k. What is a Roth IRA? What is that? Why didn't my parents teach me about that? What is a retirement? What's a 401k? How do I save money so that when I'm old, I don't have to live on the streets? That's what the 401k is about. How do I make sure I have a 401k? What's the best way to utilize my earnings today from a tax perspective? You got to plan for that now instead of when you're 60. When you're 60, it's too late. You got to plan now. You got to have decades and decades of savings invested. And that's why I made it accessible to you for the time being. I'm going to increase the price because I set that price like many years ago. And the economy and the dollar has changed in value. Yes, indeed. Gentleman writes, can someone drop the link to donate towards the education center? Absolutely. And I want everyone to be clear. This thing, we want to build something quality. It's going to take a minimum of $1.5 million. But here's the kicker. We got 1,000 people watching right now. So 1,000 people, let's see, 1,000 people. If everyone donated $100, we'd have 100,000. Interesting. Okay. Not bad. That could get us somewhere. That could really get us somewhere. We might be able to get building, which is my major interest. Oh yeah, shout out to Chung. I appreciate you. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you haven't seen episode 2 of Burton Plantation, check that out. It's free to watch. Cost me a bundle to make, but it's free to watch. Check, and it's very entertaining. Burton Plantation episode 2. You can find that on YouTube. I believe the channel is called Marquett for Women. You just type that in. Take a look. See, tell me what you think. Make sure you comment and share. Now, also acknowledge Alicia. I appreciate you. When the ladies support, it's real. And what you guys might not realize, because I may appear to be stern with the women, I absolutely love women. Women have favored me. Women have been a large part of my success throughout my entire life, not just recently, my entire life. And in as much as that's the case, I favor women and I appreciate them and I understand them. And when women support you, they put $1 behind you, that means you're really doing something. I want everybody to know, because women are cheap. You heard me? You think men can be cheap? No, women are cheap. They don't want to spend on anything. So if a woman puts $1 toward the cause, it lets you know you're really doing something. I appreciate that. And the key with what I teach is not to disparage women. It's not to be impolite to them, but rather it's to make sure that they can play their part and we can play our part. And we don't condone men behaving in effeminate ways. We don't condone women behaving in masculine ways. I don't want to hear anything about feminine energy and masculine energy in the opposite gender. A woman doesn't need masculine energy, and frankly, she doesn't have any. When she's operating in a manly way, that's a dysfunctional way. When a man is operating in his feminine, there's no such thing. He's being dysfunctional. There's something wrong with him. And when women say things like, "Oh, I had to be in my masculine," no, you didn't. No, you need to be yourself. That's what we have 3 Sins Bible. Be yourself, be good to yourself, be good to good people, be yourself. You're a woman, be a woman. Whatever you do it as a woman. And me, whatever I do, I'm going to do it as a man. I'm not about to transition back and forth. I'm going to do it as a man when I do it. And you do what you do as a woman. Huh? Come on now. Yeah, we got people doing all these switcheroos now. It's wild. Bro, I'm not surprised she has a Kenyan background. Not throwing the Kenyans under the bus. Ladies and saints, it's been truly a pleasure this time to fellowship with you all. And I hope that if nothing else, we've dispelled the lies. We see that the woman who was on, she's just overly, her mind had been just really abused by the media. And when I asked her, hey, in your lived life, you're 40 years old, have you ever seen these things you're describing? Oh, no? Well, it's kind of like the dinosaurs. Got you. It's kind of like Bigfoot. Got you. When we are more honest people, we're more reality-based people, so much of the world will open up to us, so much goodness, so many good people. Live in reality. Don't live on the internet. Don't live for what's said in the news. Live in reality. Live in community. Be around good people. Ladies and saints, let us end this with our tradition, the Creed of the Assassin. Repeat after me with full conviction, knowing this is true of you, the Creed of the Assassin. I am going to be who I truly am because I am remarkable, and I'm going to strive every moment to show the greatest part of who I am. Until next time, peace to the saints.